Yeah, we're back in town, and Leeds United and Derby County are going to be putting on the latest championship show here at Ellen Road. Another capacity crowd in the eye of the storm. Well, in Leeds terms, that means trying to get back to the top of the table. But from a climatic point of view and perspective, we have Storm Dara across the UK today. I think it's fair to say that West Yorkshire has escaped the worst of the weather, thus far at least. So whilst the wind is swirling and the rain is coming down, other parts of the UK have had it far, far worse. So conditions are difficult, but not too difficult currently. And Leeds United have to do all they can here in front of their own supporters to make sure they put another 3 points on the board. If they do that, they go back to the top of the table. Derby County have had to make changes today, out on suspension, and so Harness is another one who's dropped to the bench from their last lineup when they lost against Sheffield Wednesday. Leeds United with the one change in the starting 11. But the good news for Leeds is that news that comes amongst the replacements, with the unexpected sight of Ethan Ampadu being on the bench for this game today. The expectation was that it was going to be sometime in January before we saw Ethan Ampadu in action again. Not yet. But perhaps before the end of this afternoon, he will be returning to the fray for Leeds. So that's good news. Schmidt as well, fit now and available as a potential replacement at least this afternoon. Saturday lunchtime in the UK, wherever you're joining us. Hope you're looking forward to thrills and spills aplenty, perhaps. Although I think at the end of the afternoon, all anybody really wants to reflect on is another 3-point haul for Leeds United. That's what it's all about in the race at the top of the table. Two captains go, or head towards the centre circle. Struijk there initially. There's Ethan Ampadu. Cameras on the man who's back, fit again. His teammates giving a little bit of a ribbing on the fact that a sub is getting so much attention. And now, actually, you mentioned the conditions. The wind is beginning to whip across Ellen Road here. You'll see the shirts flapping on the players. And the rain is pretty heavy. It's right into the faces of those who are behind the goal to our right-hand side. Mendez-Laing, the Derby County captain. Pascal Struijk, skipper for Leeds. And the two teams are going to switch around. Now, this could be on the basis of what's happening with the weather. I don't know whether anyone's done a long-range forecast or a short-range forecast in terms of the differences that may occur throughout the course of this afternoon. The rain is forecast to stop later on. The wind, I don't know. It's going to be tricky. I think it's definitely going to be tricky. Two teams ready to go here. Derby County starting the day in 15th in the championship table. Leeds United sitting in 3rd, just behind Burnley and Sheffield United. Sheffield United play tomorrow. Burnley played last night, drew 1-1 at home with Middlesbrough, who will be Leeds' next opponents here at Ellen Road on Tuesday night. Leeds want to go into that one in a fine frame of mind. The game is underway. Tanaka has his first touch, and sitting alongside me as a replacement for Tony Dorigo is Simon Grayson. Good to have you, Simon.
Yeah, good to see you, Brent. It's certainly a difficult day for the conditions. As you mentioned, the wind and the rain is falling quite heavily. Derby County are going to be a difficult team to play against this afternoon in terms of 5 at the back, and they'll probably drop most of the strikers into their own half, out of possession, try and hit us on a counter-attack, set pieces. Not in a good run of form at this moment in time. Hopefully we can start the game nice and brightly and get that first goal, which is important in any game.
Often seems to be pretty important for Leeds, for sure, at home. Just invites the other side to become a little bit more ambitious if Leeds can get in front, rather than parking that proverbial bus. And already we can see in the Derby setup here, can't we, as you've mentioned, 5 across the, and then 4 in front of them, and then the lone runner, and even he's lying pretty deep as Leeds United begin to build up the possession stats here with Tanaka and Struijk exchanging passes. Struijk over the top for Junior Firpo, who we heard from before the game, his 100th appearance for Leeds United. A notable landmark fixture for him. And here's Joe Rodon. Ball out wide, right side to Dan James, tucks it down the line. Leeds hold possession, and then the ball is clipped forward, but it's clipped forward too hard, and it rolls away from Aaronson, and it goes behind, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned there, Bryn, that there are going to be so many bodies behind the ball. There isn't going to be a lot of space, so they're going to have to move the ball quickly, try and get into the wide areas, get the fullbacks in Bogle and Firpo joining in, creating the width, and getting bodies into the box. It might be a day where they need to put a few more crosses in, get shots off, which is the team's been a little bit critical of in previous games, especially with conditions like today. You've got to test the goalkeeper early on as much as possible.
Well, we've seen a first example there of how far the ball is going to travel with the wind behind it, because it came from the Derby County penalty area, and it's ended up going out by a Leeds corner flag, which is currently bending under the blasts of the winds that are sweeping across Ellen Road this Saturday lunchtime. Derby County with a chance. They look like they were going to go long. They go short instead. And for the first time in the game, Leeds United were in a defensive shape inside their own penalty area, but that any anxiety there doesn't last too long. The ball goes behind. It's a goal kick. And Meslier goes to retrieve the ball. Unlikely to go long, is he, Meslier, against the into the gale, as it were. So short pass out, and then Derby win the ball back swiftly in their own half, and they ferry it back to Zetterstrom, the goalkeeper, over the top. And there you see, it's just gone straight from Zetterstrom straight through to Meslier.
Well, as you know, with Leeds, play out from the back all the time, so I think Meslier is not going to kick it long anyway, regardless of the conditions. But Derby is certainly going to try and get it up to their strikers as quickly as possible. But if they don't have the accuracy, then this wind is going to carry the ball through to Meslier, and it's going to be back into our hands and attack versus defence again.
Piroe. Ball was hooked forward by Rothwell, didn't find a teammate, and now Struijk has to chase back, and the ball, again, wind assisted, just bounces straight through to Meslier at the other end. So both sides are going to have to work out how to play the conditions here. Leeds United with a short passing game may feel that they'll be less impacted by it, from an offensive perspective at least. That long ball's got to be judged right by both central defenders and by attackers. Rothwell and Tanaka link up in the midfield for Leeds. Struijk back to Tanaka once more. Hear the wind gusting across the microphone. Rodon just kept in by Dan James, tight to the touchline. Still going, tucks it inside to Bogle, can't get it back to James, but it's cleared only as far as Tanaka. Now Rothwell for Leeds United. Rothwell puts it up in the air and into the box. Firpo comes off his man, gets to the ball. He's a long way from the penalty area. He's cut it back for Struijk, who is looking towards the box, as is Tanaka. In it goes to Aaronson on the edge of the area. He's successfully challenged, though, by Phillips, back in the Derby starting 11. And then a long ball cleared up and over the shoulder, up to the edge of the penalty area. And Caden Jackson, who goes down. Referee sees nothing wrong with Pascal Struijk's challenge. Caden Jackson picks himself up and the game goes on.
Yeah, just out-muscled him, didn't he, really? Sort of, Pascal did really well just to defend it. But, again, we saw previously, Derby had every player within a 20-metre area when Leeds are attacking, so got to be crisp with the passing. Hopefully then 1-2s, a combination play around, will find a white shirt, which will lead to an end product more times than not.
Just one win on the road for Derby on their return to Championship football so far this season. Leeds with Solomon, almost his first touch, isn't it? Solomon makes a bit of space, works the ball to Tanaka. Tanaka out to Dan James on the edge of the penalty area. James trying to get to the byline, gets his ball into the middle. It's headed clear by Forsyth, the hugely experienced defender. Hugely experienced usually means quite old. He's 37 now, Craig Forsyth, still doing his thing. Rothwell. Now Rodon. Leeds all up in that Derby half, bar Meslier. Bogle into Aaronson, back to Tanaka, through the middle for Piroe. Piroe just rolls it back for Rothwell.
I think so far, when you look at Tanaka, he's had more touches than anybody on the pitch. He's been such a key player since he's come into the team back, I think it was Norwich away, and he's been so influential in everything. So he want to keep the ball moving, make sure that the players in front of him are getting the movement around to try and open up this tight Derby defence.
Struijk in the centre circle gives it to Tanaka. Runners set off. Tanaka thinks about it and then thinks again. Rodon out wide right side to Dan James off the touchline. James moving up towards the byline now, trying to get his cross in. It's come off a defender, but the last touch was off James. Goal kick it will be.
Just looking at the conditions, Bryn, we said before that Derby sort of were attacking the south stand with the wind behind them, and now
it's
the
going the other
flag
way,
in the
isn't
far
it?
corner towards the cop there is just more or less on its sideways, isn't it?
Pointing towards the cop, which
It'd be
suggests a dramatic change of direction.
Yeah, it'd be interesting how far the goalkeeper kicks this. From kicking it going right the way through to Meslier earlier, it might not even get to the halfway line this time.
Well, it goes high, and it gets nowhere near Meslier. It does drop in the Leeds half, but certainly not the distance that he got on those earlier kicks. And then he bounces behind, and it's gone for a goal kick at the other end. Yeah, it's strong wind that's now swirling around inside the bowl of Ellen Road. So judgment for the players in terms of balls dropping out the sky is surely going to be tricky here. Thinking particularly of the central defenders.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key concentration for Rodon and Struijk. And Meslier as well, got to make sure that any balls through, he's getting his judgment right when he's going to come out. Crosses, he's got to judge them correctly and hopefully gets no dodgy bounces or anything like that.
In the 9th minute, 0-0. Leeds trying to build an attack. Piroe will let that one roll wide, hoping that James will get there. He doesn't. It's picked up instead by Cashin. And his long ball, again, sails over the head of pretty much everybody. Rodon goes back towards his own penalty area just to get control. Tanaka uncharacteristically gave the ball away at the start of that little process, but Struijk has it, passes it square to Joe Rodon. Back it comes to Mana Solomon. Solomon on the halfway line and now just over it. Still going, ball at feet here. Firpo's ahead of him. Comes back for Rothwell. Rothwell to the edge of the centre circle and Rodon. Rodon allowed to advance. Short ball to Tanaka, goes back to Struijk. Struik's one-on-one here with Mendez-Laing. Firpo spots the problem and offers himself as an outlet.
It's just like a training exercise. As a coach, you do these sessions where it's attack versus defence. The defenders are just moving across and blocking any gaps, any through passes. The distances are right. And it's just going to be the same format for most of the day, I think.
Aaronson trying to thread his way through there. Runs into the challenge of Cashin, and the goalkeeper slides towards the penalty spot and gathers the ball into his body. That's probably the first time in the opening 10 minutes of this game there's been any sort of space through the middle for Leeds to try and work into there. It was only available temporarily. Long crossfield ball straight to the head of Firpo, who gets his header up into that Derby half. And then it goes back from Nelson to the goalkeeper, who just puts his boot through it. Didn't want that back pass, did he there, the keeper? Bobbling in towards him, and he sliced it straight into touch.
Yeah, that's one of them where the goalkeeper gives you a glare as a defender, saying, right, next time I'll give you a pass just like that and you deal with it.
Leeds have the ball down the right-hand side, having gone left to right. Aaronson. Rothwell, a little bit of space in front of him. Skims a pass out to Firpo, left side of the penalty box. Firpo pushed into touch and the ball goes with him. So it's a Derby County throw-in. Junior Firpo starts to head a little way back towards the halfway line. Long way to go yet, because Derby are right by the corner flag to take the throw-in. There's a bit of length on that throw, but Rothwell wins it in the air onto the chest of Aaronson. Now Solomon. Aaronson trying to get outside of his teammate. Sliding intervention from Nat Phillips puts the ball into touch for a Leeds United throw-in. It's level with the edge of the Derby County box. Struijk. Tricky one for the captain there, but Leeds managed to keep possession, but then they contrived to try and lose it. Then Aaronson comes in to win it back, and then Aaronson is fouled, and Leeds have a free kick.
Yeah, one of the most strangest 1-2s that I've seen from a Leeds United player there. Sort of total miscommunication, played against each other. A bit fortunate that the ricochet actually didn't fall to a Derby shirt and they broke quickly on us. But that's going to be the thing today. You've got to make sure the concentration and don't give any stupid mistakes to the opposition to give them half a chance, because the likes of Yates is a decent striker, got some few goals this year.
Here's Solomon. Phillips sticking to him like glue, a hand on his shoulder all the way, forces Solomon back into his own half. Leeds still on the ball with Rothwell. Now Rodon. As Derby suddenly press. And Meslier lets the ball roll back into the penalty area. Pretty sure he could have picked that one up, and instead he's put, oh my word, it's come back towards him, going up in the air, and there's the problem exactly as we described in terms of trying to make clearances, but suddenly Leeds sense the chance of a counter-attack, and Bogle leads the charge. He's got runners to right and left, through the middle, Aaronson, but the ball is too far ahead of Aaronson, and it's cleared away towards the halfway line. And Jayden Bogle has a little look to the heavens there. I'm not sure that was the pass that was really the one that was going to work for Leeds.
Yeah, he just got caught in two minds, really. He's running with the ball, and Dan James has got plenty of room outside him, and that's probably going to be a better pass there. Give it to Dan to get 1 versus 1 against him. But you saw certainly the wind play a big part in Derby having half an opportunity to break, which opened up the pitch for us to get on the counter-attack, and hopefully that will...
Good play by Solomon to Bogle. James in the penalty area tries to put a low ball in, well blocked. Mendez-Laing comes to pick up on the rebound, but enterprising approach play from Leeds there. For the first time, James found himself in position to try and cross. Derby clear from him, under pressure from Aaronson and Piroe. Rothwell slides in to try and win it back for Leeds, but Solomon can't keep hold of it. And then Rothwell goes in again and does exactly the same job. He is enjoying the fact that there's a little bit of extra zip across the turf, and making the most of it with those sliding tackles.
Yeah, he's just lifted the crowd a little bit there, didn't he, Joe? Sort of this crowd love a tackle sometimes more than they actually see a goal. And all of a sudden, the voices are raised and they're getting behind the team. Yeah, a good old 50-50 challenge is what everybody wants to see every now and again.
Well, actually, at the end of it all, Derby have been given a free kick, which I and Daniel Farker is also standing arms outstretched to ask the fourth official where that's come from.
How on earth is that a free kick? I will never know.
So Osborn takes advantage and takes the set piece, and it's headed away well by Struijk. And then there'll be a card coming out for the foul on Aaronson, because Caden Jackson realised that there was a potential counter-attack developing there, so he dragged Aaronson down. The card comes out, first name in the book.
I think if you're a Derby supporter there, you're thinking that's actually a good yellow card to take, because we were on the attack there, looking to break quickly, 2 versus 2, even 3 versus 2, and yeah, he's took one for the team there, unfortunately for us.
So Dan James with the ball for Leeds United. Piroe. A pretty heavy challenge on Piroe, but as the ball rolls through him, the game goes on. Leeds win it back well with Bogle. Piroe again on the ball. Manages to lose it somewhat disappointing fashion there, and so Derby now are on the ball in Leeds half, and they have Nelson attacking down the right side. A misplaced pass, but Jackson was the first to it, and then Phillips. As Derby have a little bit of possession on the ball with Nelson. A bit of pressure applied by James to Cashin, but he did well, coped. Derby bring the ball forward with Forsyth and Mendez-Laing. And the ball still with Derby in that Leeds half, just inside that Leeds half, now back in their own territory. They could have gone back to the keeper, he's gone square instead to Curtis Nelson. And then Wilson, the full back inside easily of Firpo there. And now to his right is Caden Jackson, former Ipswich man. Rothwell does well, drops the shoulder, throws off the challenge, finds the pass to Solomon. Solomon says he was caught, referee says he wasn't. Game goes on, Derby have the ball. Wilson on it, trying to get past Struijk. Struijk just did enough to hold him up there. And then when it goes behind, the final touch is a Derby touch, and it's going to be a goal kick.
No, something brilliant. I think it'll suit us actually. Derby out when they have possession, they look a little bit more vulnerable when they've actually got the ball, because they've thrown a few more bodies forward. They look like they could get done on the counter attack as long as they don't do anything when they have the ball in our defensive third as such. So when it all opens up, we look like we can hit them on the counter attack when they've got a little bit more space to go and play.
Increasingly this afternoon, I'm beginning to be happy that I'm sitting under the cover of the gantry roof here, because the rain is coming down and then some now, blowing into the face still at the moment of Meslier, although as we've described that can change. Here's Tanaka, he's put his cross up in the air. Oh, Piroe almost did all he could do with that one and turned it back to Firpo, but then Firpo helps it back to Piroe. Now Aaronson turns and opens it up to Tanaka, curls his pass to James, there's plenty in the middle. James crosses, Piroe was waiting, defender got there first, and the ball is cleared and the roar goes up. Leeds aim to keep the pressure on Derby here with Rodon. Straight ball, Piroe back to Rodon again. And then down the channel, Piroe and Bogle trying to link up. A little ambitious perhaps. Leeds have got the ball back, and Tanaka with the chance to cross, puts it in low, just ahead of Piroe there. And Tanaka tried something a bit different with that one, and it almost worked. Now Struijk has got to come and defend against Jackson. Struijk read that one brilliantly, knew where Jackson was going to take it, and he went there first. And then between them, Leeds work it out really well. Good football. Now Aaronson puts it over the top. Well, he tried to put it into the path of Solomon, but I think he got his foot in the wrong shape to do that, didn't he?
Yeah,
through the middle.
It was good play from Struijk to start with, and then they played themselves out of the area really well. And then just a bit of a criticism that Aaronson sometimes has, that his end product or his final pass just lets the team down, and that was probably wrong decision, trying to use, I think, the inside of his right foot rather than maybe using his left foot. But good play in the first place from Pascal.
Rodon's header away from a defensive position, picked up by Bogle. Aaronson still on the ball, Brendan Aaronson trying to find a bit of space to work in. Doesn't, so he goes back to Rodon instead. And now Struijk. And then Firpo drops to the ground with the ball nowhere near him, and that is never a good sign, is it? Hamstring, he's done, isn't he, Junior Firpo here? Because already down below, Max Wöber is being told to get warmed up and get ready to come on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting from which attack he suffered that injury from. Was it maybe when he stretched for the corner, when he clashed with one of the Derby players that went out for a goal kick, maybe he overstretched it? But it does look like Max Wöber's going to come on. Firpo just back from suspension last weekend, was it?
Yeah, it's another blow for Leeds, that, isn't it? The full-back position is proving tricky for Leeds. They come in, they go out again. Sam Byram out injured currently, and Firpo is definitely going to be replaced here. And with the game to come on Tuesday night against Middlesbrough, and then plenty more to come thereafter, any injury at this stage of the season has extra significance.
Well, we mentioned before the game, the bench is really strong today, so when you've got a full Austrian international coming on, it will help, but it's not ideal in terms of Firpo left-footed, gives you the balance going forward, especially at home. Daniel wants the team with the full-back pushing high up and the wide players going into them central areas, but now he's got an opportunity to come into the team and try and get back in the good books as such, because he's obviously not been covered in too much glory in the last 18 months since he's here, but time will tell to see how he does.
Well, Wöber is going to be given the task of playing the next 70 minutes or so in that left-back position that Firpo has now vacated. So Junior Firpo's 100th appearance doesn't end the way he was hoping. It ends early. And Leeds again find themselves having to make changes. Rodon in possession. The big change that Leeds want to make here is to the scoreline, which reads 0-0 still. And in all fairness, the man who's just collected the ball there, Zetterstrom, hasn't really been overly troubled so far, despite all Leeds' possession in the Derby half. Goalkeeper who wears a protective cap in every game as a result of 2 serious head injuries he suffered as a younger player. Injuries which cost him a long spell out the game, and at one point were going to perhaps cost him a career in the game. But, he's come back, but always now wears the cap to make sure it doesn't happen again. Tanaka for Leeds to Piroe. Back to Tanaka. Rodon. Stepping forward, short pass to his right to Tanaka. Tucked into James. James operating more centrally, gives it out wide to Bogle, and then the return pass to James. Gets it into Aaronson! Aaronson's shot was blocked. There are high fives all round in the Derby penalty area, because that's the best moment that Leeds have fashioned in this game so far.
Yeah, for the first time he got a forward run and be able to get into the box, and it felt Aaronson really with a bit of space, and for the first time in this opening 22-3 minutes. Gets his shot off quickly enough, but you've got to say the Derby defender came across really quickly and did what good defenders do and got a block off. Let's just hope this resulting corner could lead to an opportunity.
We've seen it in recent weeks. Rothwell will provide the delivery. Heads up in the middle, and it's headed wide from Rodon, who arrived at the back of the pack and had a good sight of goal at full stretch, made good contact with the ball, but couldn't get it on target.
Well, we've said over the last few weeks that Rothwell's delivery has been really good, and you're wanting people to go and attack it, and there you see Joe Rodon got away from his marker, and really he's got to at least hit the target. He'll be hugely disappointed that he's not been able to make the goalkeeper work there, but it's been the biggest chance of this first half so far. But again, great delivery from Rothwell.
That's probably the best sight of goal that Joe Rodon's had almost ever in the Leeds United shirt, with that header from the corner there that, had it been on target, may well have brought his first goal. Ifs, buts and maybes. Leeds back in their own half as Derby have possession. Phillips to Mendez-Laing. A little back heel from Mendez-Laing. Rothwell's there in first for Leeds. Swept forward. Piroe. Well, that breaks kindly for Dan James, and Leeds have got runners here. Piroe is on the ball, played through the middle, and now James is chasing to try and get there, and it's Forsyth who gets across ahead of him just and tucks it out of play for a Leeds United throw in. Wober steps forward, takes it, throws it back to Struijk. Struijk to Solomon on the touchline. Infield to Aaronson. Back to Solomon. Forced backwards. Struijk into the centre circle to Rodon. 20 minutes of this first half to go. Leeds attacking with Piroe. Taking off his toes, but it comes back out to Rodon, who goes wide to Dan James. James level with the edge of the Derby box, comes infield now, curls his cross goalwards. It's a pretty easy pick-up for the keeper. Gets off his line, gathers the ball into his body.
Yeah, look, you've sometimes got to give the opposition a little bit of credit. They defended their 18-yard box really well. But when you do get them clear opportunities that Joe Rodon got, you're expecting to at least hit the target, and that was a big part. 25 minutes in, it would have been great to get that first goal, and it would open the game up for more of Derby looking to come out and create a few more spaces for us.
Game is held up because Aaronson appeared to be suffering with a head injury, but he's helped to his feet by Phillips and he's okay. So the referee, having stopped play, has now got to work out how he's going to restart play. And I think Derby are arguing that they had possession when he blew his whistle, which means that the possession should be returned to them, whereas Joe Rodon has taken possession of the ball.
Go back to a good old 50-50, drop the ball and kick lumps out of each other, I reckon.
Yeah, I think the uncontested drop ball is probably an advance on that, to be honest with you. Although Derby may argue that here because it is Leeds who have been given it. And you can hear maybe a few boos from the away supporters below us, who felt that was a tad unsporting from Leeds players there. Struijk. And now Wober. Back it goes to Pascal Struijk, and on it goes to Tanaka. Again, all the white shirts up in that Derby half. Now James. In it goes to Bogle. Bogle has to come back to Struijk. Struijk square to Tanaka. Back to Rodon. Now Rothwell. Rodon again. And this is the training ground element, isn't it, as Leeds are trying to pick the pass out, and it breaks kindly for Aaronson on the edge of the area. Shot again blocked with the sliding intervention. Comes out for James, puts it into the middle, headed clear as far as Tanaka, and turns and comes to his left to Struijk, who plays it out to the edge of the area to Wober, who elects not to try and cross but goes back to Struijk instead, and Wober returns the pass, and then it goes back into the centre circle to Rodon. Now Rothwell. Now Piroe coming a little deeper to pick up the ball for Leeds, and Solomon. He can go through a gap here, and then he plays a good ball. The flag is up, and the cross from Wober's a good one, but he's offside.
Yeah, he's a patient player, waiting for that opportunity. They've just got to keep moving the ball from side to side, but a little bit quicker, playing one-touch, two-touch football, because at some point one of the Derby players will switch off, and there'll be the timing of the run and timing of the pass, and we might just get that space and that opportunity. Derby looking here now, just taking the time with everything, and we've seen that on so many occasions this season, haven't we, where the opposition come, try and delay the tactics. The odd yellow card every now and again might just liven things up a little bit for the opposition players.
Well, it was a long, slow walk in both directions from Zetterstrom, the keeper there, wasn't it? He was walking like a sulky 7-year-old, stomping from one side of the penalty area to the other, and he's managed to waste quite a few seconds there as the ball ends up right at the other end of the park in the hands of Meslier. Another one that's carried straight through. Struijk. Now Wober into Piroe. Back to Pascal Struijk again. Joe Rothwell turns and looks forward on the halfway line. Rodon to his right has the ball. Now it comes back in for Rothwell. To his left to Wober. Played into Piroe. Trying to return the ball, and Leeds will get a corner kick. That little bit of interplay between Wober and Piroe there. And they have the chance to send Joe Rothwell up and to send the central defenders up. See whether they can get that little bit closer with this one than the last one. So Rothwell will be able to take the in-swinger here from the near side, the west stand side. Gives his teammates the signal. Curls the ball into the middle, just beyond the head of Pascal Struijk. Another good shape on that corner. Quickly taken throw in. Bamford's there to give the ball back to Rothwell to take the throw from the sideline. Rodon. From Bogle. And on to Tanaka. And then wide to James. James from the touchline. Aaronson tried to let it run through for Tanaka. But intercepted and cleared. And when it comes up the park, there isn't a Derby player anywhere even close to that. Applause as Ampadu appears from the dugout for the first time. Home fans happy to see him fit and available once more, particularly this early in December.
Yeah, he's probably back a little bit quicker than everybody thought.
Yeah, it's good news. 1 or 2 more Leeds need back as well. Great challenge. Oh, Bogle looked like a good challenge in the midfield to win the ball back for Leeds United there, but once again, I call it completely wrong. And the referee awards Derby a free kick. Derby are, again, not in the business of getting on quickly with this, so the man who was going to take the free kick, Osborn, he's now decided to jog up the park, and Zetterstrom has come a long way out of this penalty area to take it instead. To be honest, with the wind behind him, he could have a shot.
This could go anywhere. This could be like 30 yards or 60 yards, given which way the wind has changed direction.
Push as Struijk goes to challenge that one. Quite a clear free kick given away there to Leeds.
I'm sure Paul Warner will be absolutely devastated about that opportunity. Get a free opportunity to put it, Leeds under pressure, and then they go and make a stupid decision making in terms of giving a free kick away from a good position that they had.
You'd be a manager, eh?
Well, exactly. That's why I'm sat with you.
Struijk puts the ball over the top. Solomon's got in behind, controls it well, puts it in the middle. Well, Piroe was waiting, but so was Cashin, and he managed to clear the ball into touch. But Leeds definitely did spring the offside trap initially there. Didn't quite benefit from it. And now they have the ball again with Tanaka out wide to Bogle, the furthest wide man to James. Tries to play a little return pass into Bogle, but Mendez-Laing got ahead of him as it's cleared into the chest of Tanaka. And now Rodon. We're inside the final 15 minutes of this first half. It's still 0-0. Leeds are playing the game in the Derby half pretty much constantly now. Piroe back to Rothwell. On it goes to Tanaka. Holds it up nicely, gives it wide to James. Plenty in the middle for Dan James to try and find here. Gets past his man, gets the byline, tries to put it in the middle. Kept going there, Dan James, when he could have gone down, I think, and won a free kick. And maybe that was the option ultimately, because the cross was not the best. He slipped, really, as he made contact with the ball. But Leeds come again quickly with Rodon through the middle for Piroe. Just beginning to open up a little bit. Piroe, hey, what is he trying there? Well, he's trying his luck, is what he's trying. It's a shot from, what, 35 yards out? Hoping it was going to dip, maybe.
Well, at least he's taking that opportunity. People have been criticised for not shooting as often as they should do in the games this season so far. Probably a little bit far out. Maybe he thought the wind was going to be behind him. Didn't quite dip like he thought he would do. But at least he's been positive, looking to get a strike off. Sometimes he can maybe shoot a little bit closer to goal rather than as far out as he did then.
Well, he'd seen the keeper of his line, and we saw Connor Roberts for Burnley equalising that very way last night. Dipped in, straight shot, dipped in over the keeper. Not this time, though. Leeds end up with a free kick, I think, over on that far touchline.
We didn't see Connor Roberts do that often for Leeds last year, didn't we?
Well, that shot from outside the penalty areas, too many of them been flying in for Leeds, have there, in recent times? But just got the one goal on loan at Leeds last season. Important one, though it was, against Leicester. Aaronson in his own half to Tanaka. Just about got that one to Wober. A moment of anxiety there as it hit the Derby player. And then Struijk arrows the ball too far forward, and it goes up to the edge of the penalty area. There are 10 minutes to go in the first half, and Leeds are still trying to make the breakthrough here. Derby in possession on the edge of their own box. Risky crossfield ball is easy for Solomon, but then he maybe tries to do something a little too difficult with it as well. Derby get it back quickly, and then it's played over the top. The flag is raised, so Jackson had gone too far too soon, and that's a Leeds free kick.
Yeah, I think if you're Paul Warner, Derby manager, you'll be quite happy with how things are going. They've defended well when they've needed to make the blocks. They have done. They've looked to try and hit us on the counter-attack without having any opportunities, and certainly got to keep the concentration levels up really high. From Leeds' perspective, just got to keep being patient and wait for that opportunity.
James is nudged over. Leeds will have a free kick here. He was flying forward, Dan James, and I think it was a Mendez-Laing challenge. A little nudge in the back sent him to the ground. So Leeds have the chance to put a ball into the Derby penalty area, closer to the box than a corner kick. So Leeds have sent everybody up. Rothwell's gone over. And Derby basically just form a big block of yellow shirts in the penalty area.
Well, like they have done for the last 36 minutes.
No change there then. The wall is well back inside the box. The small wall is Liam Thompson. Entirely sure what the point of that is. And just one player standing slightly in the eye line, perhaps, of Joe Rothwell. Sent to that position by Zetterstrom, the goalkeeper. You'd imagine it's going to go well beyond him into the middle. Fans behind the goal are trying to make the referee aware that the player in that the small wall, as mentioned, Liam Thompson, had stepped forward in front of the line, and now a new line has been created to hold him. That's like a force field, isn't it, the spray line? He has to step back behind it, and that's made a heck of a difference. The wind is blowing in Leeds' favour just at the moment, blowing towards the goalkeeper. Rothwell puts it up in the air, headed clear, comfortably headed clear by Nat Phillips. So Leeds have to begin all over again.
Bogle getting a few boos from the Derby supporters after the next Derby.
Standard. Aaronson in the penalty area, does well, turns and shoots. Keeper beats it away. Brendan Aaronson did really well there. Pass into him was nice. He did the rest. And for the first time, the goalkeeper's really been stretched and kept Leeds out.
Yeah, Aaronson has had the best opportunities in a way. They've fallen for him in around the 18-yard box, both chances. He's hit the target. Keeper this time gets across and makes a decent save, but sometimes just with the bodies in around there, you can get them breaks, and Aaronson's got 2 breaks so far, but not being able to finish them.
He's hoping for another break from this corner kick from Rothwell. Crowd in the middle. Heads up and in! Terrific header, and it is Joe Rodon! Rodon has scored his first goal for Leeds United, and every player in the team goes to celebrate with him. A huge moment for a big player for Leeds. Rodon's header for Leeds United 1, Derby County 0.
Well, he's certainly redeemed himself, hasn't he? Because the opportunity he had probably 10 minutes ago was a far easier chance than the one he's just scored. Again, great delivery from Joe Rothwell. Rodon just really sort of outpowers and comes over the top of the Derby defender, and it was this time he was able to head it downwards, which skidded off the turf, which didn't allow the Derby goalkeeper to get across to it, and it's just what we needed, really, getting into the half-time area of 7 or 8 minutes. Rodon scores with a header from another set piece. All of a sudden, Leeds are scoring set pieces left, right and centre.
Well, that just shows the importance, doesn't it, of the set piece as something in your armoury. Oh, my word. Well, Wober has just misplaced his header horribly at the other end, and it's flown off his head. I think it was moving in the air as it came towards him, and it's gone behind for a Derby County corner. It's their first corner kick of the game, isn't it, this? So from one end to the other, now Leeds are defending a set piece, having raised their status as something of importance to Leeds United. They now have to show resilience at the other end as Derby have a chance to put a ball in the Leeds box. Osborn's going to take it in the 40th minute. In it goes high towards the far post, headed back towards the edge of the area, and then hooked back into the middle. Rothwell can't get to it, bounces beyond him. He does the second time, and now Leeds charge out, and Mendez-Laing is aware that there are bodies behind him. It goes back to the keeper. James doesn't quite get there, and then he puts a long ball over the top, and then Meslier at the other end will pick that one up in his penalty area.
That's where the wind played in our part there, didn't it? It bounced and went through and it held up. Jerry Yates might have had an opportunity, but this time it skidded through, and safe hands to the goalkeeper.
Bogle down the line for Aaronson. Tried to tuck it inside the full-back, failed. Derby worked the ball, at least temporarily, to some sort of safety. Jackson. Caden Jackson. Back it goes to Cashin. And then on the halfway line, Struijk intercepts, and Tanaka. And Mellier's come out of the penalty area, and he's put it up in the air. And it's flicked beyond Piroe by Cashin. And now Wilson for Derby down the right-hand side. In the middle, Rothwell will pick this up for Leeds. Just a sense that maybe he could have got Leeds going, but now he's trying to do that with Wober on the move forward for Leeds. Wober's little ball, he tried to put it into the path of Solomon, but Solomon was a little too far away round the back of the defender there, and it didn't work out. Game has has immediately opened up in the aftermath of that Leeds United goal.
Yeah, just didn't quite have the right weight of pass, did he? Over there, tries to look for Solomon through behind the Derby defender, but as you said, it's opened up a little bit more now. Perfect time to score. Given going in at half-time, potentially could have been sort of a little bit disappointing, but great to get that first goal.
Trying to get another with Bogle just outside the penalty area, into the penalty area. Bogle's cross into the middle, almost broke into the path of James, but just as he was ready to swing, it was cleared. And the ball is back up in the Leeds half, where Struijk is the only player, outfield player, anywhere close to go and pick it up for Leeds United. Now Aaronson. Aaronson's ball's behind Solomon. A bit of a breakdown in communication between the pair of them there. So Derby with Cashin from the back through the middle for Osborn. Goes out to the left-hand side to Forsyth. Infield again. And then delivered back into the path of the keeper, whose touch was pretty heavy, but nobody was close enough to cause him a problem. Mendez-Laing delivers the pass back to Thompson. Liam Thompson back into Nelson, experienced centre-half. On the ball again here. Shorts flapping in the wind. And then an exchange of passes, and Derby keep possession in their own half, and then Cashin comes to join in. Down the left it goes to Forsyth, straight to Rodon. Nice ball, just clipped infield to Tanaka. Tanaka onto Rothwell. Struijk had to go and chase that one a little. Wind-assisted pass. Rothwell. You can hear it's whipping up again here. The rain appears to have stopped, but the wind is picking up instead.
Still don't know which way it's going, like, do we?
I don't think anybody does. No, the corner flags are going in all directions. Struijk for Leeds United. Back he goes to Joe Rodon. Rodon moving the ball forward for Leeds. Now James, if he can keep this in, he can. He's onside as well. Curls his cross into the middle. Plenty of big Derby players in there. Always favourite to get those ones clear. James tries again, runs through the crowd, gets it to Aaronson. Aaronson back into James! And it's Firpo who arrives from close range for Leeds United. Firpo tucks it in. Well, they're all scoring this afternoon. Max Firpo up from the back, two very, very good effect. Lovely work all from Leeds to make it Leeds United 2, Derby County 0.
Well, that's one way to get back in the good books of Leeds United supporters, isn't it? Getting your first goal. It was good work down the right-hand side, wasn't it? Firpo's up there as pushing full-backs forward. Gets a bit of a ricochet from a Derby defender, I think it was, and he's in the right place at the right time, falls to him nicely and just slots it away. And great to have that second goal now, just before half-time, to really lift this crowd. And yeah, brilliant positioning from the full-back, and two players with first goals for the club. He's as surprised as anybody. I think he's as surprised as Joe Rodon or even Sam Byron was the other day when he scored his first goal for the...
2 minutes to be added on at the end of a first half, which now has a very different complexion than it did, what, 5 minutes ago? As first Rodon and now Wober. Who next? Meslier? Tanaka?
Tanaka, leave Meslier where he is. Don't need him trying to come forward.
A central midfielder is definitely due a goal for Leeds United, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Even a shot on target,
a shot,
maybe.
Indeed, yeah, that's a good starting position. Meslier, under a bit of pressure, gets it out to Struijk. Tanaka goes back to Struijk and back to Meslier. Meslier, short ball, Rodon. There's space for Bogle. Closed down and loses the ball. He's got to go and try and win it back, and does. And then puts it into touch. Had just about the first of the 2 added minutes. Derby with a throw-in in the Leeds half.
Just don't need to do anything stupid now, giving them any opportunities to turn this into a nice, comfortable lead to a nervy 2-1. So just defend properly, see it through to half-time, and both team talks become slightly different to what they were 10 minutes ago.
Phillips to Wilson for Derby. Wober, he's right at it now. He's trying to take the ball, and he's won the ball for Leeds. They're penalised there, Leeds United, and surely can count themselves unlucky. Everyone was having a little bit of a go at it. And I've mentioned before, a dear old friend of mine who we miss greatly, Norman Hunter, would have described that challenge as 6 and 2 threes.
Yeah, that would have been certainly just carry on and play back in the dirt. Wilson trying to get away from Solomon. Firpo with a sliding intervention. He's right at it now. And the ball comes out of play off the Austrian international. We've had the 2 added minutes. Derby have a throw-in down by the corner flag. And the referee has blown the half-time whistle. So Leeds United, with 2 late goals towards the end of that first period, walk off the pitch in a far happier state of mind than might have been the case prior to Joe Rodon's header and then Max Wöber's close-range finish. 2 men off the mark for Leeds United with goals that have Leeds in front by 2-0 at half-time. Well, it was always going to be a game where you had to be patient, had to make sure that didn't get carried away going too quickly in the conditions, and Derby certainly got the numbers behind the ball, and with the first opportunity for Joe Rodon was obviously the most easiest chance for him to try and hit the target, and then good delivery from Rothwell and got that goal that allowed the game to open up a little bit, and then just the icing on the cake there from Wober, who gets in at around the 6-yard box and makes it a nice, comfortable scoreline, 2-0. 0-0, if it had been like that, it would have been a slightly nervous point of view and maybe slightly frustrating. But 2-0 is a nice scoreline going into the second half.
2-0 is a nice scoreline. That's the half-time scoreline. Leeds United 2, Derby County 0. Derby County will get the second half underway. I have to report that I think, for the time being at least, the wind seems to have dropped quite relatively dramatically here. Only 2 of the corner flags are bending and not all the way to the ground. The rain has stopped. People are returning to their seats. The game is underway again. Derby have a throw-in the Leeds half. Cashin takes it. Wilson across the back to Phillips. And then he puts a long diagonal. Bogle in the air wins it above Forsyth. So Derby get the throw-in when it goes out of play. Mendez-Laing in there to take it for them back to Cashin. Early indications that Derby are going to be prepared to put more players up in the Leeds half, because there's a very different look to their shape as they have possession at the back at the start of this half than there was at the start of the first half. Goalkeeper has just sliced that one into touch. Sails beyond Daniel Farker, hands in pockets. And the throw-in is taken from Bogle back to Joe Rodon, who I'm reliably informed at half-time has become the 496th goal scorer for Leeds United.
And that'll make Max Wober the 497th. Well done, Ben.
Thank you. Ball down the right-hand side to Dan James. Tried to roll it into Bogle, but it was behind Jaden Bogle. Tanaka does well, though, to put pressure on to win the ball back with Solomon. Solomon, there's a big gap in front of him as he goes into the penalty area. Still going, Solomon! And when he tries to shoot, it's Nelson with the desperate but successful slide challenge to block it. Mendez-Laing gives it away, straight to Rodon. Short pass to Rothwell and Struijk. Pascal Struijk with a short ball into the path of Tanaka.
Just going back there, I think Solomon made the wrong decision, to be fair. He had Wober on the overlap, who was free, and he came inside and took the opportunity to get a shot off, which the Derby defended well, but I think really he should have played to Wober on the outside, who made a lovely run and could have ended up getting a shot on target for himself. But a good positive start so far, because when you're 2-0 up, the last thing you want to do is give the opposition any encouragement and making sure that they can get back into the game. We've been patient. We're looking to get this third goal, which will completely kill the game off.
Aaronson almost puts it into a space in front of Solomon, but it maybe rolls away with the wind behind it. It's cleared up and over the halfway line, where Struijk goes to collect for Leeds. Gives it to Tanaka. Actually, now the Second half has begun to look very like that first half did. Derby all back in their own half. Leeds all up in the Derby half. As Struijk crosses the halfway line now. The last of the outfield players to join the group. Bogle back into his own half to Rodon. Short square ball to Joe Rothwell. Those corners have been right on the money for Leeds today. Ball over the top is intercepted by Forsyth. Mendez-Laing keeps it away from Leeds' possession. Now Osborn has it in the midfield. Just about gets it back to Phillips. And then Nelson goes with a wide ball to the far touchline. Now Jackson. And Jackson has got away from the challenge by Struijk and still has the ball for Derby County. And he's played it to this near side. He's put a lot on that one. So Mendez-Laing has to slide to keep the ball in play, and he does well to do that. Derby, as a result, still have possession of it. Back it goes into the Derby half. Now Osborn in the centre circle for the away side. Nelson in possession. And then Mendez-Laing on the near side, forced back by Bogle. Cashin goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. The pressing from Leeds to keep Derby deep in their own half. Trying to keep them there now as well, and they've done it successfully. Solomon, Piroe, now Aaronson. Aaronson inside to shoot. Still going Aaronson. Still delays the shot, gives it to James instead. He tries to shoot, and it's blocked, and it goes behind for a corner.
Yeah, really patient play. Then they got on the front foot and got the press exactly right, and then Aaronson gets that opportunity. He's in the box again and works it so well. He probably turned down the opportunity because he saw a big Derby yellow shirt coming across again, but should he have shot, should he have not? It has been a criticism of the team in general, but good pressing from the front there. Set the trap, and I'm sure there'll be a few more occasions like that where Derby can get into some sort of trouble by trying to play out and Leeds hitting the press right.
Leeds now trying to get the set piece right again here with Rothwell. Puts the ball up into the air where the heads are to clear it away as far as Rothwell once more, just on the edge of the box. Now here's Aaronson. Aaronson across the edge of the area to Solomon. Solomon shoots just wide. Well, the goalkeeper was late with the dive there that maybe looked like it was going to be important, but as it turned out, it drifted just past the post.
Well, most of the stadium were waiting for him to move it onto his right foot and then try and bend it to that far corner, and he didn't disappoint us. Got it into there and just couldn't quite get enough curl into that far corner. I think the goalkeeper was quite relieved to see it go past his post rather than having to pick it out the back of the net. But again, positive start, nice and patient, nice and positive. Just want to try and get that third goal and kill it off.
Rodon. Tanaka wins a header. Derby have it with Mendez-Laing in the Leeds half. Bogle wins it back, does well, takes it off the Derby captain. Rodon plays it to Aaronson, looks forward now. Aaronson, well, he's ridden the first challenge, and then as he's caught with the second challenge, the referee brings the play back, having allowed the game to go on, gives Leeds a free kick, which is taken quickly. Rothwell, marching on together, rises up from the ranks. Tanaka back into Rodon. Rodon in the centre circle. Square to Tanaka. Bogle. And now Tanaka looking for a run perhaps. There's Wober running across the edge of the penalty area there. Furthest man forward. He's got a taste for it.
To take a double take then as a left back running into a centre forward position.
Solomon runs across the park from left to right, gives it to Tanaka, and it goes to Aaronson. Turns well, gives it back to Tanaka just outside. He does have a shot, deflects away from goal. Mendez-Laing is underneath it to clear it as far as Rodon. Leeds come again. Tanaka back on the ball. And again. Now look at James, the space down the right for him. Curls his cross into the middle, and Nelson caught in two minds there, but he knew he had to get something on the cross in. It bounced in front of him, he headed it behind.
Yeah, when you get into these wide areas, sometimes it's good to put the ball into the box quite early because the conditions are blustering. Defenders are a little bit uncertain how it's going to bounce, where it's going to fall to. So Tanaka taking a shot, which would have been nice for him to get his first goal for the club when two previous players have already done that.
So Rothwell with a corner kick. Raises his left arm and puts the ball into the middle. Just bounces beyond Rodon, comes all the way through for Solomon, who's turned and gone back towards the halfway line, pursued by Phillips, gives the ball to Bogle. Now Aaronson on the halfway line for Leeds, happy to just keep hold of the ball. Struijk to his left to Tanaka, further wide to Solomon. Tanaka, back it goes to Struijk. Now Rodon. Picks the pass to Bogle. Jackson comes out with him. Goes back to Rodon. And now Struijk. Another one of those games where the possession stat is going to be wildly in Leeds' favour.
Well, even Derby 2-0 down, their approach really hasn't changed too much so far, has it? That 5-4-1 where they've got everybody behind the ball. We just got to keep moving it around, keep being patient and force them into a mistake. But at some point, Derby have got to have a little bit more of a go to try and get back into this game.
Leeds could do with just clearing this one, as Forsyth wins a header from the clearance and then falls and then just about manages to keep it and give it to Osborn. And Derby come now with Thompson. Forsyth is outside of Liam Thompson, gets the ball off him, gets the ball back off him, and then it comes back for Cashin. Derby have put plenty up in the Leeds half for this attempt to build an attack. Wind whips up again as Aaronson goes in to try and win it back for Leeds, and then it's played into a gap. Rodon will get there ahead of Jackson, and Meslier sweeps his foot through it. Tricky those for the keeper today, and the ball is dropping into touch down below us here for a Derby County throw-in.
Just looking below us, Bryn, you look at the Leeds players warming up. Bamford, Gnonto, Ampadu, Ramazani. There's some firepower down there, isn't there?
And I think at some point fairly soon you're probably going to see elements of that introduced, just to vary it. Another game coming up, of course, on Tuesday. Another big game coming up on Tuesday. And Daniel Farke is, I'm sure, anxious to make sure that he just spreads the load around, especially with Christmas coming and the crazy fixture schedule that faces teams over that period. Back it goes to the goalkeeper here. That was not the best back pass. It bounced in front of the keeper and he's given it straight to Tanaka. Tanaka, lovely control, just plays it short to Bogle. Bogle is caught in possession by Mendez-Laing. Cashin plays it out from the back to Thompson. Derby just seeing a little bit more of the ball in the last couple of minutes, and they have it again with Cashin. And then they lose it, but he's played it straight into touch. Nowhere near Mendez-Laing there.
Been so impressed with Tanaka again since he's come to the football club. He's just looked a top player, both in possession. He keeps it simple, he keeps it moving. Put out of possession, he fills in the gaps, does the side of the game that not a lot of people would think that his key strength is his defensive midfield player, but he understands the game so well, reads it so well, and he's been a massive influence on this team since he's come to the club.
I don't think he arrived as a defensive midfielder, does he? But it was horses for courses in terms of players out injured. He's shown great discipline, and like Simon says, a really good understanding, reading of the game. Rothwell alongside him. Struijk, and then Struijk has overhit his pass and it sails beyond Manor Solomon and out for a Derby County throw-in. Derby level with the edge of their own box. Struijk wins the header. Bobbling around in that Derby half. Wober. Infield to Tanaka. Rodon. Aaronson's done well. He's got it to James. James shoots! And the keeper pushes it away from goal. Powerfully struck. Probably just a little bit too close to the keeper there. Otherwise, that was going to be a spectacular strike for 3. There's great work from Tanaka. There's the perfect example.
Exactly what I just spoke about previously. One from the first shot from Dan James. Tanaka started it with a lovely first touch and pass through. Then all of a sudden, Derby looked like they're going to counter-attack. He reads the game really well, gets his body in the way, draws a foul from the Derby player, and there's 2 parts of his game that we've just been praising him so highly about. So long may this good run of form continue, because I think he's been a massive, massive player.
Derby clear as Rodon tried to push a ball down the channel. Good challenge in midfield by Rothwell to get Leeds going again. Rothwell into the penalty area to Solomon. Solomon looks towards goal, moves it away from goal, just trying to find space, maybe find a teammate here. Into the middle to Tanaka. Tanaka can shoot. He does shoot. It's a good effort as well. Keeper at full stretch, pushes it away. Solomon picks up on the ball just outside the penalty area. Solomon again holding it up, weighing up his options. Rothwell is the outlet this time. Quickly back to inevitably to Tanaka, and now on to Wober. Wober can cross, he does. Headed away from the near post. And Derby appeals for hands against Jackson. Good challenge by Tanaka again to get the ball back into Piroe. Piroe rolls it goalwards. Fine save from the goalkeeper. It rolls agonisingly past the post. Some lovely football. Tanaka involved again and again.
Great period of play there where sustained pressure in the 18-yard box and around it. Tanaka again is everything good for Leeds at this moment in time. Comes to Joel Piroe there, and he just tried to side foot it past the goalkeeper, who, to be fair, got a good strong left-hander cross. And yeah, it's coming, isn't it? That third goal. It'd be nice just to put it to bed from another set piece, but it'd be lovely to see Tanaka score, because he's been really, really good again today in many elements of his game.
We're past the hour mark. Leeds corner. Rothwell into the middle, headed away just before the keeper could get there. Comes out for Solomon. Solomon puts it back in the penalty area, waiting at the far post was Tanaka. Still in the middle for Leeds, still alive perhaps. Derby head clear, not that far. James collects just outside the area, hooks it back to Rothwell. Rothwell, oh, lovely ball in. Tanaka, just offside there. Must have been pretty close, but nice space spotted by Rothwell.
Got to be critical around it at some point. He's offside, he's got to time his run better than that. He has got sort of some downfall to his play, but looking to get forward. That combination of Rothwell and Tanaka has been really good today, but also over the last few weeks. They complement each other really well defensively and offensively as well. And yeah, it's just wave after wave after attack. Nothing's changed really from the first half, apart from Leeds probably having clearer opportunities than they did in that opening 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Forsyth slices the ball over his own shoulder and out. Derby are going to make changes shortly. Could mean the Dutch player in harness, who started the last game, are both about to come on for them. Rodon back to Meslier. Out it goes to Pascal Struijk. Now Rothwell in midfield to Bogle down the right. Up the line to James. Does well to keep it in play, but doesn't find a teammate. Rothwell has got in ahead of Mendez-Laing, and he just happy to tuck the ball into touch for a Derby throw. Level with the edge of the Leeds box. Forsyth is going to come forward. Mendez-Laing says he would have dealt with it, I think, but Forsyth insists he's the left side throw-in taker and throws it back to Mendez-Laing. Mendez-Laing with those wide shoulders, looks like he's an NFL player, doesn't he? The big guy. Derby back in their own half with Phillips forced back to the goalkeeper. Wind is got up, so this one's coming back at the keeper. It's gone straight up in the air. This is coming back from the header as well. Piroe goes in. Nobody knows where this one's going to land. And it finds its way to Bogle. And then Bogle's pass is under hit. James needed more on it there. Derby start to move from the halfway line. Struijk's got to defend this through ball against Jackson. Takes it away from the Derby man. Up the line it goes. Bogle caught. But the breath allows play to go on. Looked like a foul by Yates, that one. Referee sees nothing wrong. Leeds are having to defend here now. Forsyth. Back it goes to Cashin. Back to Forsyth on the near side touchline. Thompson. Past Tanaka. Osborn. Return ball is a good one to Thompson. Gets a low ball into the middle. Meslier, great work. He's had not a touch so far, has he, in the second half, Meslier? And he stretches his arms out and he gathers that ball into his body.
Yeah, fair play to Derby. Some decent play, probably the best bit of play that they've had. 1 touch, 2 touch, and they get in. And so we talk about with the concentration, Meslier there is sort of alert to things quite easily. You could let it slip out your hands and fall to one of the opposition's players, but full concentration and allowed Leeds to get back on the ball again and keep increasing the possession stats.
Which they're doing currently with Rothwell passing the ball to Rodon. Still those 2 Derby subs wait. Now Struijk, nice ball over the top, down the channels. Can Solomon, he will keep it in play. From the byline, back it comes into Wober and back to Solomon. Rolls it all the way back into Pascal Struijk, who started the whole thing off. Rothwell quickly out wide to Solomon. Solomon tight to the touchline, comes out to Struijk and then into the middle to Rodon. Now Tanaka through the middle, puts the ball up into the path almost of Aaronson, just bounces away from him, and that was close to being a really good through ball.
Yeah, lovely play again. They've worked it well, and then comes to Tanaka and he sees a run from Aaronson there, and he's just a little bit unlucky that the wind has just caught the pass and it's gone through. But again, Tanaka and Rothwell, you're looking at them, they're playing with so much confidence, so much belief. They know when to play 1 touch, they know when to play 2 touch. They've got the runners that are running in behind, and yeah, it's been an impressive performance this since the first goal went in, where it was very cagey, but since then the team have certainly been on top and looking very positive and confident.
Changes coming for Leeds as well. Joseph is going to be joining the action. I think Gnonto is too. Mendez-Laing off for Derby, as they have now made those 2 substitutions. Harness went in to challenge for that one, didn't get there. Wober, proper defender's clearance that by Wober, up into the Derby half, won on the halfway line by Thompson. Goodman, the sub, gets his first touch, and second. And then Leeds going to win it back briefly. Ferber's ball in field is blocked and goes out for a Leeds United throw-in. 25 minutes and under now to go here at Ellen Road. Leeds United 2, Derby County 0. Both the goals coming in a short spell before half-time.
Well, you're thinking substitution, maybe Aaronson off and Piroe's a 10 and Joseph was the centre forward, or will it be a straight swap?
I'm guessing
Piroe,
straight swap.
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, the options are there, aren't they? And then Solomon or James possibly for Gnonto, as Derby have broken the offside line here, and they've got the ball up to the edge and into the penalty area, and it's Rodon who's gone across to cover, and it bounces off Rodon and goes behind for a corner kick. Leeds let the concentration levels lapse, and Derby almost exploited it.
Yeah, just got away with that one there, because the line was tight and they've timed the run really well of Derby, and it got into a really good position. And fortunately, I think the wind played a little part where it held the ball up, and Rodon was allowed to come across and stop the cross. But again, concentration levels have got to be at full height.
Derby have this corner kick, curled into the middle, heads up in there, comes all the way through the crowd and out the other side, and it goes out for a Leeds throw-in on the far touchline by the corner flag. Well,
that could have been a bit of a scary moment. There's plenty of bodies in there for Derby, and it's gone right across the 6-yard box, unfortunately straight through for a throw-in. Leeds substitutions come in.
Yeah, Gnonto's the first of the 2 switches. Solomon is the man who is going to be replaced by Willie Gnonto. Solomon gets applause from the crowd as he heads towards the touchline. And then Brendan Aaronson is the second change, and Simon Grayson feels vindicated, manager's eye.
If you're a Derby player now and you're seeing like Joseph and Gnonto come on, you're thinking, God, we've just had Aaronson and Solomon dictating most of the play so far for the first 67 minutes, and next thing you got two lads that are desperate to make an impression, that are going to run around, chase things, and have got the quality to go and get goals and assists. So yeah, Derby players won't be too impressed by the substitutions.
No dip, that's the aim, isn't it, with a moves from the bench. Great challenge by Bogle to block the attempted cross from Harness, and then does well as well in the second phase there by kicking the ball against the Derby player, so it goes behind for a goal kick. Derby now are at the stage where they are beginning to throw a little more caution to the wind, and Leeds are just having to focus a little bit more on what they do around their own penalty area.
Well, the thing with that is, Bryn, that the strikers will be looking to get the goals, but defenders just love clean sheets as well, and the goalkeepers, so they take immense prideness in getting them clean sheets.
Piroe from the run from Bogle, and it rises with Wober. Tries his luck from outside the penalty area there. It was meant to dip, it didn't, not enough anyway, and so the shot sails over the crossbar, but Bogle was allowed to advance from deep into his own half and high into the Derby half then. Maybe that's the indication of that step forward that Derby are attempting to make in the final 20 minutes of this game. Goalkeeper, wow, terrible goal kick. And it's gone straight for James. Now Joseph tries to get inside the defender Nelson, and then the ball is tucked behind. Well, that was poor all out from Derby, wasn't it?
Well, it's a poor goal kick from straight away to. And when you've got someone like Matthew Joseph chasing down, and the Derby players will be like thinking, oh, here we go. And it'd be lovely to see him score today, because he's such an honest kid and he works so hard for the team, and not being a great run of form in terms of in front of goal after starting the season really well pre-season. So it'd be nice for him to get on the goal
whatever.
Yeah.
Leeds corner.
Score sheet.
That's the one. Rothwell puts it into the middle. Struijk just beaten to it in the air. Gnonto lucky to get his first touch. Not yet. The ball's gone out for a Leeds throw in, which I don't think Gnonto's going to take. Instead he leaves it for Wober. Max Wober chucks it into Joseph. Worked into Piroe. Now Tanaka. A lot of space to right and left now for Leeds. Struijk operating in that Derby half, gives it wide left side to Wober. Happy to go back to Pascal Struijk. And now Joe Rodon into Gnonto. Back to Struijk. Gnonto again. Now he'll have a little run, Willie Gnonto. This is how he likes it. Taking on defenders, trying to get to the byline. It's blocked, it goes out for a throw in. That exemplifies what Simon's been talking about in terms of what you get with the changes. More of the same, really.
These lads coming on will be desperate to do really well and say to Daniel, look, pick me for Tuesday night against Middlesbrough. You have to make an impression. If you don't make an impression when you come on as sub, then really you're not going to be in the thoughts of starting too much for the next game. And these lads are desperate, and that keeps pushing each other game by game. Joseph
in the penalty area. Ferber's under pressure, but he wins a corner kick for Leeds United. Did well under pressure there, Max Wober, just to offer himself as an outlet for Joseph. And now Leeds have the chance to put a ball into the penalty area again. So Rothwell goes over. Corner flag next to him. Bends a little in the wind. And bends a little more in the wind. Like a kind of an indicator as to which way the gust is going currently. Rothwell curls the ball into the middle. Keeper goes and catches. First time he's managed to get his hands on one of those Rothwell corners this afternoon. Zetterstrom's throw out. Derby in possession with Thompson. And then Cashin. Space through the middle. And again, Thompson. Ball in front of him. Goes wide to the right touchline. Gets the return pass. Goodman moving forward for Derby, then goes to his right, gets the ball back again in midfield. Then it's played through the middle, and it's an easy pick-up for Meslier behind the back line. Meslier rolls the ball underarm to Pascal Struijk. Tanaka.
I think if you're Daniel down on the touchline now, you'll be thinking you're pleased, you're comfortable with how things are going, but just to get that third goal, just to give that sort of extra reassurance that the game's finished and done by, because if they get the next goal, nerves can creep in and it can be a little bit of a completely different climax to the game. So the concentration levels have got to be good, both ends of the pitch.
Good ball from Bogle, who won it well in the first place. And James has got options in the middle. And as he tries to put it in there, all he succeeds in doing is hitting the head of the Derby defender. And off that head it goes behind for a corner kick.
He probably just took the wrong option. I think he could have really just slid Matthew Joseph just down the side of him, where he's looked for the big cross into the box, where really the slide rule ball for Joseph might have led to a better opportunity. But hopefully one of these attacks or set pieces can lead to that comfortable third goal to kill it off.
So Rothwell comes in the casting the role, trying to be provider again from another corner kick. Wynn just takes the ball slightly away from where he wanted it, right on the edge of the quadrant. Two hands raised this time, so something different. Spins in into the middle, heads go up. Absolutely walloped away from the edge of the 6-yard box. Leeds win it back in midfield with Bogle going into battle. Struijk is chasing back into his own half, and he gets there ahead of Harness and just pushes it back to Meslier. Meslier doesn't risk it, goes well. What a ball that could be from Meslier. Joseph's got him behind here. Nelson sends him out to the edge of the penalty. Well, that worked well, didn't it?
Well, Meslier taking credit for the passes, clapping his own pass there, to be fair. Again, sometimes you play out from the back and try and work the thirds, and all of a sudden a longer pass can be sort of actually more benefit at times. I mean, you've got willing runners like Joseph is, since he's come on, can play a part. So from being on your own box more or less to getting another corner. We've had so many corners today, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a high count, but Leeds can mark a return on at least one of them. Can they do it again here? Rothwell curls it into the middle. Struik's little header on. Rodon and Piroe were both in there, and ultimately couldn't quite kill a touch. Leeds with Gnonto. Gives it back to Rodon. Now Bogle happy to go back to Meslier. Inside the final 15 minutes at Ellen Road, still Leeds United 2, Derby County 0. Both goals scored towards the end of the first half. Gnonto misses his challenge on the halfway line. Goes in for another one. That doesn't work either. Derby push the ball back into their own half. Gnonto goes to apply pressure, good pressure, so it has to go back to the goalkeeper. It's hard kicking away. The keeper's balls are just going up in the air and then dropping back towards his penalty area. It happens again. Joseph goes over to the far side to try and win it for Leeds in a challenge, and then Derby get the throw in. Given straight onto the chest of Rothwell, but he can't control it into the path of a teammate, and it goes out for a Derby County throw-in.
I think we can definitely confirm that we've got the win with us based on the goalkeeper's last two kicks, that they've literally gone up into the sky and come back about 20 yards. So I think it has stayed that we've got the win this second half.
Derby in possession on the halfway line. Played across the back. Oh, just to manage to keep that one away from Dan James, who was lurking there. And then it's played all the way through the back line, and again, same result as we saw a couple of minutes ago, straight into the path of Meslier. Tanaka, now he's set off. Puts the ball into the path of Bogle through the middle for Leeds. Bogle trying to get it onto Gnonto, and then it's just kept away from Gnonto. Derby defends successfully before Tanaka tries to get in again. Then Rothwell helps out as well, and then Tanaka is penalised for his challenge, I think. And ultimately the hard work that Rothwell and Tanaka put in there doesn't pay off.
I know we've talked about trying to get this third goal to finish the game off, but it'd also be nice to get the third goal, so maybe Ampadu can come onto the pitch and get a little bit of game time for 5-10 minutes or something like that, just to ease himself back in around the first team squad.
2 more Derby changes coming. Ward is one of them. In the meantime, Derby have a free kick. Or are they going to make the changes first? No, the goalkeeper was just respotting the ball. Puts it in low again. Headed up in the air by Forsyth. Cashin underneath it. Joseph's back defending in his own half. Forsyth back towards the halfway line. James applies the pressure. Thompson. And then it's put out wide to the far touchline where Harness has gone to get it for Derby. Back in and now into the middle to Yates and back out to Harness down that far touchline. He's getting away from his man. Well, he was until he ran the ball out, and it's a Leeds United throw-in. Actually, good work by Pascal Struijk, just eased him off it there.
Yeah, like I say, Derby about to make the 3 more changes, trying to get some out of this game. Colin, the centre forward, Barkhuizen, who I used to manage at Preston, wide player, will come on, try and make an impact on the game. Hopefully not.
Collins as well will go up front, I think, won't he?
Yeah.
Still waiting the signal. Leeds trying to build an attack. Tanaka's pass is behind Bogle, Piroe rather. Piroe goes in to try and win it again, fails, and Derby come through the middle with Harness, and then Bogle's there defensively, given away. Now a chance for shot from Thompson, and he hits it straight at Meslier, and that goes down, I think, as Derby's first shot of the game.
Probably is, yeah, good concentration. Just when he's about to take that shot and he hits it, you're thinking, don't take a deflection, that it just goes up and over Meslier there. Fortunately, the block took a lot of sting out of the shot.
Here's James, played in by Piroe, puts the cross into the middle. Lovely ball it would have been as well. Joseph couldn't quite get there, and behind it goes. Is that a corner? No, the referee says that Joseph's was the final touch. He's not happy, but it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, brought really well, and Willie Gnonto was free at the far post. If Joseph or the defender had completely missed it, he was a bit frustrated he didn't get that opportunity.
Barkhuizen is the first man on. Thompson off. Then Kane Wilson departs and Ward comes on. And then the final change leaves Yates off and Collins on. Yates, who's not really seen any of the ball in an attacking sense for Derby this afternoon. It hasn't really been what their game's been about, has it?
Not really. When you're talking about first shot on target, what, 79 minutes, it just shows you the intent that Derby came with from the first whistle.
Leeds defend. Rodon gives it away, goes in to win it back, and then catches his man in the process, and he's penalised for the challenge. Oh, and Collins, well, that is shocking. Collins went down, rolling around, holding his ankle from the challenge from Rodon, and then once the free kick was awarded, literally sprang back to his feet and ran back towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area.
God knows what he'll do if he gets a proper tackle on him.
And the likelihood of that happening now, I think, is just increased potentially, because
this is modern day football, Bryn. They don't do that anymore. Maybe back in the day of Billy and Gilesy and Batty and McAllister Speed, they might have done.
Cards marked. Ward with the free kick, curled into the box, headed away. Comes back to the edge of the area for Osborn to put it back in the middle. Headed goalwards, easy catch for Meslier, bounced in front of him. Counter-attack is on. James is racing through the middle. And Meslier tried to, almost did thread it through between a couple of players into the path of James, but Derby win it back, which is probably why Daniel Farke would say don't actually take that option. Hold on to it. Derby come again now on the edge of the penalty area. Osborn to Barkhuizen, into the edge to Rodon, gets a good touch into James. Clearly the opportunity for the counter-attack was on there before Harness, who, in fairness to Harness, actually tried to get out of the challenge, didn't he, on James, but James stumbled under his touch and down he went, and Leeds get a free kick.
Yeah, you just mentioned it there. Meslier sort of bowed to the pressure of the crowd trying to kick it quickly for Dan James, who really sort of there's Derby players back, weren't there? And it sort of didn't lead to anything apart from Derby getting the ball back and having a bit of possession. Looks like Ramazani's going to be coming on.
Yep, there's another one for Derby defenders to feel happy about. Ramazani joining the action. And Guilavogui is going to come on as well. Another little cameo in midfield. Rodon. Now Gnonto. Pokes it back to Rothwell and then Tanaka. James trying to work it down the line for Bogle, who's gone ahead of him. But it's deflected out for a Leeds throw in. Back it goes to Tanaka. Either he or Rothwell probably to be replaced. Meslier, long one forward for Leeds, but that's going to be cleared. Long looping header back into the Leeds half. Bounces out, Leeds United throw in. Board will go up now for these two Leeds changes. And first man off is Joe Rothwell, who's had another really good game in that midfield for Leeds United. Appreciated by the home supporters. And the second change will be Dan James to be replaced by largely Ramazani. James jogs off, Rothwell strolls off.
Just shows you, doesn't it? He can chop and change it and different players come on. Bamford came on last week and Joseph didn't. And Joseph's come on today and Bamford hasn't. And just be able to mix it up and give players a game time so they are ready for this real busy schedule that's going to be coming up, not just this week, Tuesday, Saturday, but then the Christmas period as well. And just want to keep everybody on the toes and everybody match fit.
Well, Wober's already had to come into the side today with Firpo going off injured in the first half. Came on and scored his first goal.
He actually went about his job really well, hasn't he? He's had a few opportunities, got forward, defended well, and he could be pleased with how his afternoon's gone so far.
Rodon defending for Leeds, gets the ball into Bogle. Bogle's going to need help here. Gives it back to Rodon. And his clearance forward comes off the legs of Barkhuizen for a Leeds United throw in. Bogle lets the original ball roll past him and then goes to pick another one up instead. And we're inside the final 5 minutes. Ball back into touch off the head of Cashin. Bogle wipes moisture off it as if he's going to go long with this one, which perhaps he is. He does. Down the line, Piroe flicks it on. Gnonto picks it up. Now it's broken to Joseph. Piroe's played in. The goalkeeper sensed the danger and saw where the ball was going, and he raced to the edge of the box to get there just ahead of Piroe.
Nearly, wasn't it? Nearly a right-weighted pass for Piroe. Might have been better the other way around, actually. Piroe playing it through to Joseph because he's probably a little bit quicker.
Ramazani picks it up for Leeds. Well, he got past the first challenge successfully, not the second one. Guilavogui, good tackle to get it back to Ramazani. Now Leeds are on the front foot. Ramazani has Guilavogui, but he goes inside himself. Chance to shoot. I think it hit Piroe in the back. It comes back out for Wober to have a crack as well. He was invited to shoot by the crowd. He accepted the invitation, and it spun off a defender and out for a throw-in.
It just opened up for Ramazani, didn't he? Came inside on his left foot, looks to bend it into that far corner. Fortunately, it hits the backside of Joe Piroe.
Bogle. Now Guilavogui to Struijk. Gets the ball back off the same player, puts it over the top, and it's broken. Oh, flag is up. Is that Joseph who's got to be offside? It can't be Wober, can it? Joseph was a little further ahead of the left back. 3-6, 4-6-8 is the attendance here inside Ellen Road this Saturday afternoon. Goalkeeper ready to take the free kick for Derby. Zetterstrom with the ball into the Leeds half. Daniel Farke just imploring effort from his players in these closing stages. Derby in possession in the Leeds half. Osborn. Back it goes to Harness, forward to Osborn to chase, but that one's got the wind behind it perhaps this time, and it rolls behind for a goal kick.
We're going the last couple of minutes now. If it ends up like this, it'll be a good professional performance and a much-needed response to last weekend's disappointing performance and result at Blackburn. So 3 points all you can try and get on a Saturday, and let the other teams worry about themselves, and move on to the next game, which becomes a massive game on Tuesday night.
Leeds are heading top, of course, at this stage of the proceedings, with Sheffield United in action tomorrow against West Brom. Meslier, ball goes a long way up into that Derby half, and Joseph tried to make progress, just blocked off by Nelson, who stepped across his run. Ball over the halfway line. Clear handball there as the arm went up from Collins. One or two home supporters heading for the exits, plenty more staying in to hopefully celebrate a Leeds win in the next 3 or 4 minutes as we move into the 90th. Meslier into the wind, or with the wind rather, because definitely with the wind, because it's flown all the way to the corner flag, and then a little bit of the pace goes out of it. Ramazani finds himself in the penalty area, puts it into the middle, and just before it arrived at the feet of oncoming players there, it was cleared away. Derby on the edge of their own box managed to get the ball out to relative safety on the right side. Leeds have been close on so many occasions in this second half too. Oh, now suddenly Matteo Joseph, well, the goalkeeper's got away with one proper style there, because he allowed Joseph to run at him, and then suddenly he was in his face and somehow managed to just keep the ball away from the Leeds attacker, because there was embarrassment incoming there had he got that one wrong.
You do see so many goals on a weekend that teams trying to play out from the back and not quite able to do it, or the concentration or the quality isn't as good as it should be, and mistakes are there to be seen quite often. Unfortunately, from our perspective there, it wasn't to be, that the goalkeeper just managed to get the ball away from Joseph. 3
added minutes here, and we're into that added time period now. Free kick that fades and falls, and then wasn't the greatest clearance by Joel Piroe, back on the edge of his own penalty area. Sliced it, but it spun over his shoulder and into the hands of Meslier, who's had another really quiet day, hasn't he? And Meslier should be wearing like a big thick jumper for these ones at the moment.
You don't mind that to be the case, do you? You don't want to be making save after save, because you know that the team hasn't defended well as a team, but today's been comfortable. The opposition, I don't think, have been great in terms of asking too many questions, but you can only do what you need to do, and that's get goals and keep clean sheets.
It's the situation Leeds find themselves in at this stage of the season. Derby still have pretensions in this one. They're trying to attack now, and they have the ball down the left-hand side. Rodon, look at that. That is proper defending from Joe Rodon. He wasn't letting that one go, and he stayed with Barkhuizen, and he stayed with the ball all the way until it ran out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that mentality that you got to keep having as a defender, clean sheets, because come the end of the season, goal difference could play a part. You never know.
Well, it is at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's helping Leeds to the top. And so Rodon was anxious to ensure that they didn't let one slip there. He was really, we interviewed him after the match last weekend at Blackburn. He was really unhappy with what had happened at Blackburn. He made that quite clear in the interview, saying that they need a run of wins, and haven't managed 3 consecutive wins yet this season. He mentioned that, remarked upon it.
Well, this is a good way to start, isn't it? When you've got a week of 3 games, 2 at home, and then away at Preston next Saturday, I think it is. Yeah, he was hugely disappointed with the performance, and he felt it badly, and he's responded in the right manner, hasn't he? Scoring a goal, and looks like we're going to keep a clean sheet.
Well, we're into the final minute of the 3. Leeds have a free kick if they want to have a go here. I suspect what they'll do is keep possession. The early indications are that I may be right. Tanaka to Struijk, and now Rodon in his own half. On it goes to Guilavogui. back to Rodon, into Gnonto. Now then, maybe Tanaka goes out wide, just too far ahead of Joseph. It really was shaping up into something potentially there. Another poor clearance from the keeper, although in fairness to him, it's not easy today, is it? Let's see how he does with this one. Gets a bit more distance on that one, but it drops to Struijk, who's done really well. Controls it, gives it. Gnonto lays it off to the left side. Leeds come again. Gnonto plays it just past Joseph. It's just not falling right for Matteo. Joseph makes all the right runs. The whistle goes, and that signals another Leeds victory here at Ellen Road. Scoreline perhaps doesn't reflect the comfort and the control that Leeds had over this game. It took 2 goals just before half-time. 2 first-time scorers, Joe Rodon and then Max Wober, and those 2 goals proved enough. Leeds had plenty more chances, didn't add to it, but Leeds United, for the time being at least, are back on top of the Championship table. Full-time scoreline, it's finished. Leeds United 2, Derby County 0.
Yeah, great performance, comfortable performance, as you mentioned there, when 30 minutes was on the clock and not too much was happening. We weren't able to break them down, but the team had to remain patient and wait for opportunity. And then you get the unlikely goal scorers, Joe Rodon and Wober contributes. And after that, it was a real comfortable afternoon, wasn't it? I don't think there's too many questions being asked of the defenders, but you've got to keep your concentration levels higher. It would have been nice for a couple of more goals to have gone in, because got into some positions where we could have been a little bit more ruthless. But overall, another game ticked off, another win, another clean sheet. Move on to the next one.
And the next one comes pretty swiftly. Tuesday night, big game against Middlesbrough here. So we're looking forward to that one already. Before all of that, all the post-match reaction to come down in the tunnel and in the studio as well. Full-time scoreline, another good day for Leeds. It's finished. Leeds United 2, Derby County 0.